all week long, well, 2 weeks, we've had guest hosts coming in. And today it's a surprise guest host who we haven't teased or said he was coming. Probably mostly for safety reasons. We don't want him to. Hey,
For sure.
Yeah. Bring him on in here. Here is our guest host today. There he is, Todd Chrisley. Come on, my friend. Come over here. You're part of the crew today. You get to sit over there in the friend chair. I told everyone as you're walking up that we didn't tell anyone you were coming because safety reasons. You would get mobbed. We don't want. Well,
I don't know about that.
We don't want all the paparazzi out front. Finally, have big stars in the building. How are you, dude?
I'm good. How are you?
You know, you and I were talking on Instagram yesterday on DM.
Yes.
I didn't even know you were going to come in until late last night. And they were like, Todd's coming in. I was like, I would have talked to him about that. We were just talking yesterday.
I didn't know it either until late.
Yeah, until late last night?
Yes.
Yeah. How you been?
I'm good.
So when you wake up in the morning in that fancy house with that fancy life and those cameras everywhere, like, what does Todd Chrisley eat for breakfast? Because I picture, like, what's the fancy oatmeal called, Amy, that you eat? It's
Like
called
steel cut?
Steel cut.
No, it's even fancier. It's like it's
Fancy, you mean fancy yogurt? Like a parfait?
what do you eat for breakfast, Todd?
I don't eat breakfast.
Of course. Of course. So what do you do? We wait until lunch?
I wait until lunch, and I normally have something that's probably not good for you. It's either pizza or Mexican or Hattie B's.
Really?
Yeah,
You?
I do.
So why do you skip breakfast? You just never been a breakfast person, or you're just saving up for the lunch?
Never been a breakfast person.
okay.
Never been a breakfast person.
What's it like to have your life
Um,
out there all the time?
I say to the kids every day that we signed up for it. So, you get a check for it, so you sold your privacy. Do I think that we get compensated for everything that we go through? Probably not. But, I don't believe that there's anything that we've gone through or that we've had to deal with that has not made us stronger.
And do you guys have closed door meetings about what you will and won't share? Is that ever something?
No. If you're doing it, then I'm going to put it out there.
And
wow.
How
He's
often
gonna-
do you wear these mic packs? Like, because sometimes you just forget that you're being recorded.
I think you forget that you're being recorded until you're reminded that you're being recorded. And then once that happens to you, normally it should only take you one time. And, if the kids are doing something or saying something or there's something going on with one of them and they give me a look, then I unplug the mic and we go into a room and we discuss it.
Okay. So there are unplug your mic. You
Yes.
give them the look.
Yes,
You give 'em-
exactly.
All right, Todd Chrisley's here. He's going to hang out with us for an hour. Todd, we've been doing this game for the. Here's what happened, Todd. A lot of my friends in radio, they have a lot of money to give away as a prize.
Right.
So they do this thing called the secret sound, and they give away $1,000.
Right.
We don't have $1,000. So what I had was my own cash. We're now up to $11. We started at $5. And every time someone misses it, instead of going up, we 100, we go up 1.
Right.
So this is the secret sound. I'm going to put on a call or two. Let's go to Danielle in Alabama. Danielle, you're on with the Bobby Bones Show and today Todd Chrisley. How are you, Danielle?
Hey, I'm good. How are you doing?
It's Daniel. That's a different.
Hey, Daniel.
Daniel, how are you,
How y'all
dude?
doing? Good, man. How y'all?
I'm pretty good. We're going to play you the secret sound. Todd Chrisley's in here. He's going to listen to, and you guys can talk about what you think it is together, okay?
All right. Sounds
All right,
good.
here we go. Here's the secret sound. All right, Todd, what do you think that is?
My ex-wife.
I was about to say it sounds like an X to me. But
Daniel,
funny.
what do you think that is for $11? You win this.
sounds like some hyenas or something like that.
A hyena. So far, we've had a bunch of birds, a crazy baby, a woman sneezing, a fox, and a dolphin. Those are all guesses. He's
What do you
guessing
think,
hyena
Todd?
for $11. What's up, Daniel?
I was going to say, what do you think, Todd?
Daniel, it sounds like birds.
A bunch of birds has already been guessed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Are you going to go with the unorthodox pick of birds again, where it might have come back to birds? Like, that's not going to be your pick, right, Todd? You're not telling him to do that?
Yeah, I think we're going to pass on the bird.
Listen, I don't know. Let's just go with whatever you decide, Daniel.
Daniel?
What do you say? Hyenas? I got my sons in the car with me. Hyenas? We're going to go with hyenas.
Okay, he's going to go with hyenas. Is it a hyena? It is not, Daniel. Appreciate that. Hey, shout out to your sons who are in the car with you right now.
Hey, I got two sons that holler at them. Hey.
Good morning, buddy.
Daniel Jr., Daniel Jr.
I got Hunter and Hudson in here with me, and also my wife loves the Chrisley show. So my wife's a big fan.
Thank you so much, Daniel.
Hey, Daniel, have a good day, bud. Sorry you didn't win. I hope that you can get by without getting that $11. If you really needed that $11, I would give it to you.
I think I'd do it.
All right, bud.
All right, man. Y'all have a good one.
See you later.
Bye.
Hey, Todd, what happened as far as the tornado when it came through? Did it get near you?
It did not. I woke up the next morning and all this stuff was going on, and I had never heard anything.
Yeah,
And-
us too. Me too.
Yeah, we just didn't hear anything. And my daughter Savannah, who lives downtown, she could see from where she lived the tornado actually, coming that way. And then the next morning, we have a lot of our crew and stuff that lives in East Nashville, and so we had to stop filming.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they had to wait and find out, where everyone was. And then later on that afternoon, we went and toured the area and started, putting together supplies and stuff, to take them to this church. And I was there at this church, and this guy said, I'm delivering stuff for Bobby Bones. It's Victory Church or something.
Oh, yeah. No, I put on my Instagram. Yeah. I just put on there, hey, Victory Church, Mount Juliet? Is
Yes,
that where you
Mount
were?
Juliet.
Yeah, I was like,
Yep.
go here. They can use water.
Yes.
Oh, good. That was awesome. As a
Yep.
listener, just,
Yep. He said, I'm delivering water for Bobby Bones.
I love that.
And I said, good.
That's so cool.
yeah, we always feel like we're an extension of our listeners and they're an extension of us. And so to hear stories like that, because I was out delivering stuff too, driving around, and I would see people in our shirts, the Pimp and Joy shirts, and they didn't see me, or there was just so much happening around. It wasn't like fun, but they were just wearing it and working. And I was so proud to see kind of that message and, and us trying to be like them and them trying to be like us.
I mean, I think that, when you strip it down, we're all the same. And, to know that my kids were at Costco buying, I think Costco limited them to 5 cases of water, and Savannah's buying diapers and all this stuff, and she's just going down the street, putting them on people's doorsteps. I thought, what? This is what it's about. This is community, and this is, looking at, as a parent, when you see your kids doing this, you're like, okay, well, then they did hear one thing. They got one thing out of this
Yeah.
raising.
Amy and I both have on Pimp and Joy shirts today, and we just put them on accidentally. We showed up today, and we're like,
Oh, we didn't plan it. Yeah.
you are me. I am you. and yesterday we said on the air, hey, we're going to put these on, and we don't keep any of the money. And yesterday for tornado victims, just from the shirts and the hoodies, we made $45,000. So if you guys are listening now and you're from afar, you can be listening to us in Boston or Bakersfield, California, or Maine. We have a lot of listeners everywhere, Tampa. And you're like, man, I wish I could help. You can, because we're cutting the checks quick and sending them out.
Yeah.
So if you go to bobbybones.com, we have all of our Pimp and Joy stuff, T-shirts to hoodies to whatever, and the money goes right to the tornado and helping out there. So, Todd Chrisley, you can hang out with us, right? You're not leaving.
I'm not leaving.
All
I'm
right.
not leaving.
Todd makes me nervous. Funnier than I am. I'm like, oh boy, I got to turn it up a little
I
bit.
know
over
that
here.
ex-wife thing. Was
I
quick.
know. He's like, what's the guy doing? They're writing jokes.
on his toes.
Go home and write jokes all
He
night.
didn't even know that was coming.
If you want to hop in and jump on the phone, you can. 877-77-Bobby. Todd Chrisley from Chrisley Knows Best. Hey, let me ask you this. I got a text here. They say, are you shooting right now, Todd?
We are shooting right
Okay.
now, shooting season 8.
Are you
Wow.
taping or on hiatus?
crazy.
Season 8.
We are taping, yes.
All right, we will come back here with Todd Chrisley on the Bobby Bones Show.
The morning show's official YouTube channel. Go to YouTube, search Bobby Bones Show, and subscribe today.
Bobby Bones. Our guest host today is Todd Chrisley. Hey, growing up, Chrisley, like that, there's all these shows now, Todd. I can't even keep up with them. Every time I look, it's a Chrisley commercial. So, Todd, there's Chrisley Knows Best.
Right.
There's Growing Up Chrisley.
Right.
There's the Chrisley podcast.
Right. Chrisley Confessions.
It's just too many.
Wow.
Lots of.
Right.
So, first was Chrisley Knows Best.
Right.
Okay, so how did that even get started? Like, how do you get a show on about your family?
You know, I had a friend that she was in production and she kept saying, you guys need to have a television show. You need to have a television show. And I said, no, we're not interested in doing that. And she needed to present something to her company that she was working with to kind of justify that she was still getting a check. And she asked, could she do a sizzle reel? And I didn't know what that was. And so we agreed to let her do that, never thinking anything was coming from it. And she shot the sizzle reel over 4 days. And then about 6 weeks later, I get a phone call from the head of All 3 Media, and Adam Greener was his name, and he said, we have presented this sizzle reel to 9 networks, or to 10 networks. We have 9 offers.
And why do you think that is? Because of your personality, because of the family dynamic? Because did you have some sort of heritage that people would?
No. I just think that it's just where God intended for us to go. We never had any idea that it was going to get to where it is today. And, we're in 8 seasons. I mean, right now we're approaching 180 episodes. And we film 44 weeks out of the year.
Wow, that
my
much,
gosh.
huh?
Yeah, we film 44 weeks out of the year. And, we do 26 episodes a season for Chrisley Knows Best, and then 8 episodes of Growing Up Chrisley. And so who would have thought that it would have ever taken off the way that it has? And, we're blessed to be where we are.
So what were you doing for work before you were Todd Chrisley?
Real estate development.
And what kind of, like, fancy big houses or like?
Listen, we had developments.
Listen, he's about to say something. He's like, whoa, listen here.
Here's how it was.
We had, what had happened was, we had homes from $300,000 to $3 million that we developed. And I had been doing that for probably 15 years.
What's it like to sell a big $3 million house?
I think that I didn't sell. I designed and developed and handled the platting out of the neighborhoods and what have you. But I don't know that there's any difference. I mean, a house is a house to me, and I want every person that's ever bought a home that we did to be happy in that home and to love it. And I go back and look at some of the homes that I designed, and those homes are still going up in value. And you look at things online and you see that I sold this home 10 years ago and they've put it back on the market and it's still exactly the same way that it was when they bought it. So, I think that, my life has fairly been blessed, Bobby.
So your trade was designing houses.
Building and design, yes.
And you started doing that in college?
Started doing that when I was 20 years old. I started buying foreclosures and renovating them and flipping them.
Oh, wow. You were like flipping before flipping
I was flipping
cool.
before flipping was cool, exactly.
So are you calling out the Property Brothers right now for being crappy?
I'm friends with both of them,
okay.
so
I'm
good
we have a
with
feud
that.
here. I'm into it. Tabby in Tennessee, you're on with Todd Chrisley, who is our guest host today. Hi, Tabby.
Morning, studio.
Morning.
Good morning.
Mr. Chrisley, I just wanted to say how wonderful you are as a parent and the way that you raise your kids to be so confident and so just not apologetic. It's wonderful. And sometimes your little one-liners are so meaningful, I don't even think you realize how apropos they are.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you.
Do you ever sit at home and write a few of these one-liners and just see where to come up?
Again, it all goes back to God. I mean, when things happen, it's just like that response is there for me. And I think growing up, in the rural part of the South, I grew up with parents that worked in a textile factory, and my family, they were from the country. And they had all these sayings, that they would throw at us. And those things kind of stuck. So, I've used them with my own children. And my kids will look at me and say, you don't even know what that means. There is no meaning to that. So
I have a lot of those,
That's
too.
awesome.
Growing up in a small town from Arkansas, And I kind of, they poke me on the show a little bit about
Yeah,
that.
he'll use them here, and we'll be like, you don't
You
even know what that means.
Yes, I do know what that means. I do. My grandma would say them all the time.
I told Chase the other day, I says, if you don't shut up, I will beat you until the hearse arrives. And he just looked at me and goes, that is the dumbest statement. And I said, okay. So then about 4 hours later, he said, oh, so you're saying you were going to beat me until they picked me up and I was dead, right? I said, it's okay. You're pretty.
It's slow.
It's okay. You're
slow.
pretty. Who are your famous friends in Nashville that we would know?
You.
Stop it. Who's the
Bobby
real ones?
Bones.
Who are the famous ones?
Dolly, Reba.
Can you call Dolly? Can you just call Dolly?
I wish I could call
Okay.
Dolly. Jay DeMarcus, Gary, Jodine, Luke, Caroline. You just had Caroline on. We know just about everyone. And Nashville has been so welcoming to us. And we really love Nashville. We love the people here.
Tell me, because this growing up Chrisley,
Mm-hmm.
what's the difference in Chrisley Knows Best, which is, I think you've shot that already and you're shooting Growing Up Chrisley right now?
No, we're still in production on Chrisley Knows Best right now. Then we go into production.
Okay, I'm confused, Todd. Just tell me just tell me about Growing Up Chrisley.
Growing Up Chrisley is a lot more about Chase and Savannah being out on their own. They're both pursuing different things. Savannah has a clothing line now that's going into its second season. It's been picked up by several different stores. She's got a shoe collection coming out. Her cosmetic collection comes out in August, a fragrance. She's working nonstop. And, Chase is doing real estate down in Charleston. So what time he's not on the golf course or dating. And so it's just following them in their life and, me staying on top of them.
How in the world are you able to be the parent that you are, because you didn't have what they have, right?
No, I did not.
So, and now they're growing up with a different outlook because of the resources that they've been given way earlier.
Correct.
Like and I often think about this for when I have kids, because I grew up, I was a food stamp and a welfare kid. My kids won't be like that because
Right.
and now you have kids that are living an entirely different life.
Yes, they own their own homes,
How
their
do you
cars.
parent that when you didn't live that?
I say that the hardest job that Julie and I have ever had is raising adult children. If I had my time to go over, I would have given my children far less. I think that we, as adults, when you don't come from money and you don't come from all these trappings, you want to give your child everything that you didn't have, that you sat around and said, one day I hope I have that. And I think that we do those kids an injustice when we do it. I think that we strip them of their drive and their hunger of going out here and doing it on their own. So if I had my time to go over, and I was asked this last week, Todd, what would be the one thing you would do different? The one thing I would do different is I'd have kept my money to myself, and I would have made them work part-time jobs.
Nice. So I'm making note here when you have kids. Todd Chrisley's here. We're going to play Jake Owen Homemade. If you guys want to hop on, you can. 877-77-Bobby. 877-77-Bobby. Todd Chrisley from Chrisley Knows Best, Growing Up Chrisley, The Chrisley Chronicles, Chrisley Confessions, Chrisley.com, Chrisley.
I grew up getting dressed up.
Show.
Our guest host today is Todd Chrisley. Todd, are you shaking hands with people less because of coronavirus?
I'm not. Listen, I'm going to go out of here however I go out of here. But nice. I don't worry about those kind of things right now. That's not something I'm focusing on. I'm focusing on people in Nashville not having homes.
I'm still focusing on not shaking hands, though, because I was volunteer, but I was still not shaking hands.
One of my agents at WME, he does not ever shake hands, which I love that because that's the first thing I'm going to do when I walk in the room with him. And in Highway, Mandel, he does not shake hands. And the first thing I do when I walk into the room with him, I go, and he goes, high
he gives
five.
You the bump.
Yeah, he gives you the bump.
I didn't know you did. I've never had a drink of alcohol. I didn't know.
You don't drink alcohol?
I've never had a drink.
I have never had a drop of alcohol in my life.
Me either. I didn't know that about
wow.
you. Mm-hmm. So what is it for you that kept you from drinking?
I think that my dad's family, all of them had an issue with it. And my mother watched that, and she always instilled in us there's nothing good to come from it. And so I never wanted to disappoint my mother. And so I never did it.
Have you been close or tempted?
Never. I've never had a desire for it. And I thank God for that. I've just never had a desire for it.
Look at you. Looking good in your hoodie over there. No desire for it. I asked him, we were talking during the break. I said, hey, Todd, where are you working out in town? And he goes, I don't work out. And I'm like, you don't work out? He goes, nope, don't work out. He goes, well, what do you? He goes, well, I run every day. I'm like, well, this is working out. What are you talking about? He goes, well, I run. I was like, that's harder than what I do. I can't stand running. Todd Chrisley's with us. We have some people on the phone that want to say what up. Let's go over to Christy in Tennessee, who's on the phone. Hey, Christy, you're on with Todd Chrisley.
Good morning, studio.
Morning.
Hi, Todd.
Hey,
so
Christy.
my mom lives really close to you right off of Downs Boulevard. How is it for you to go out in like the West Haven area and in the Franklin area and people not bother you?
Christy, I don't live in that area. My mother lives there, but I am there all the time. I don't have anyone that bothers me in Nashville. Yes, people come up, they ask for photographs. We give them, we oblige with whatever they're asking for, and we go on with our day. Nashville has been very kind. The people here have been very kind. Now, we did have to gate our property in and put 14-foot trees up because people were coming to the door at 11:30 at night. But those were not people from Nashville. Those were people that were coming to Nashville for a vacation. for people that were coming to Nashville for a vacation, and it was kind of like on their bucket list to check off of taking a picture in front of our home or what have you. But for the most part, people in Nashville are lovely to us.
You have security that travels with you?
We unfortunately have had to enlist in that, yes.
And the deal with that is 99.9% of people are awesome. Because I've had issues myself.
Right.
I've been jumped. I've had death threats. I've had, a lot of stuff happen.
Right.
And 99.9% of people, I'd even put a couple more nines on the end of that, are wonderful. But it just takes one person, one nutty person, even who doesn't dislike you, but if I can't have you, no one will type of person.
Yes. I mean, Savannah and I both have had that. And, it was really bad. About a year ago, there was an individual that was sending letters to the network. And these letters were addressed to Savannah, and they were going to the USA office in 30 Rock in New York, and then the production company in LA. And so they would send these letters to me, but in the beginning, they were nothing. They were just very complimentary. And then because she wasn't responding, the letters turned nasty. And this individual says, I'm coming to Nashville, I'm going to do horrible things to you, and I'm going to make your dad watch and whatever. And so it ended up, there was like authorities in 3 different states that had to get involved. And this guy was a convicted sex offender, had cut his ankle monitor off, and when they went to the hotel where he was living, he was out on probation, it was filled with nothing but photographs of the family.
And that's the kind of person who, if they're crazy enough to do all of that, they're crazy enough to do one other thing that could be injury or even take a life.
Well, listen, he was not supposed to go within, I think it was 20-mile radius of where he was supposed to be living. And he finally cut his ankle monitor off when he got to Kentucky.
That's crazy.
And so now we have full-time security.
And you should.
Mm-hmm.
You should. I have a couple questions for you. You are 51, is that what you say?
51.
I'm about to turn 40, Todd. I'm 39, about to turn 40. I need some advice about, I'm entering the next stage of my life. What? Set my head straight here.
I think that 40 will probably be some of your best years. I think it'll be some of your best years.
Is it because my previous years have sucked, or is it because it's...
No, I don't think that anyone's going to look at you, Bobby, and say that your previous years have sucked. I just think that at 40, I knew exactly who I was. There was no doubt. And I had my children. I knew exactly what road I needed to be on. I no longer cared about someone else's opinion. It was very freeing. 40 was freeing for me.
How long have you been married?
20. Judah and I have been together 25 years.
And so what would you tell people that are like, all right, Todd, give me some marriage advice?
I think that you have to learn to listen. You have to listen to each other. You have to be respectful of each other's opinions. And you have to also be accepting that people are going to change. You know, that I don't think that the person that you marry is the person that you die with. I think that if you're living your life the right way and you're feeding each other the way that you're supposed to feed each other, that each of you grow, and hopefully you grow together. And if you don't grow together, then you respect each other enough to allow that person to continue growing just in a different location.
Let me write that down. Making notes over here. Let's take another call real quick. Let's go. Kyle in Virginia, you're on with Todd Chrisley, who is our guest host today. Kyle, what do you want to say?
Hey, what's up, Todd? I love the show.
Thank you, Kyle.
Good morning, studio.
Morning.
Hey, what was your first job, like, as a teenager, other than, like, the farm? What was your first job? And do you have, like, your boss, like, oh, man, I just let Todd, like, in the future, it's like, oh, man, just let Todd Chrisley go when he was a teenager. You ever have any bosses like that?
My first job was I was a bag boy at Winn-Dixie. That was my first job. And Teresa McGuffin, who I love to this day, was my manager, and I've never been let go. I was fired from Applebee's because I threw water in a guy's face. But it was the first night. I mean, I was not meant to wait tables. But that's the only job I've been fired from. And I don't know that I was fired because I actually quit, but I would have been fired.
What did the guy do to get the water in the face?
You know, it was he had made a smart ass comment, and so I just threw water in his face.
Nice.
And
hold on a second.
How
Making notes.
how
I'll
old-
show, guys.
How old were you?
I was 18.
Okay.
And he didn't get up and...
No, because at that time I would have fought you because I am from South Carolina.
So you bagged, you Applebee'd.
Yep.
You do anything else?
I have worked at Winn-Dixie. I worked at Applebee's for one day. And I worked in the textile factory where my parents worked for about 6 years. And then I kept saying every day, God, I know there's a better way. I'm not asking for you to solve my problems. Just give me the strength to face tomorrow and I'll figure it out. And I did.
Crazy story. If you missed him talking about how the whole show came together, go back and listen on the podcast. I just blown away at that. All right, Todd Chrisley's here. He's going to hang out for the next 15, 20 minutes or so. If you guys want to hop on, you can. 877-77-Bobby. We do have positivity coming up in a second.
Coming up.
Our guest host today is Todd Chrisley from Chrisley Knows Best and Growing Up Chrisley and the podcast called Chrisley Confessions. What do you guys do on the podcast that you don't do on the shows?
You know, the podcast was set up, Chrisley Confessions, so that we could actually use it as a platform to discuss things that we couldn't discuss on the show. If there was something in the media that was being reported falsely, we could talk about it. If there was a topic that we are not allowed to discuss on the show, then we discuss it on Chrisley Confessions. And I try to be very transparent. If there's something that we've gone through, I don't hide it. I put it out there. And then I let you know how we got through it. And hopefully that will help you if you have to go through the same thing. So, you know, Chrisley Confessions is really about people calling in with questions on things that's going on with their children or their marriage or just in life in general. People call in with political questions. People call in with financial questions. It's just questions that people have that they don't feel comfortable asking people around them.
I have a lot of people on the phone who love the show, and I always wonder, people that are on a show that people are passionate about, like, what in the world do you watch? Like, if I were to say, give me your 3 shows right now?
Probably, well, This Is Us is one of them.
Are you into Love Is Blind yet?
No, I haven't watched that. A Million Little Things I love, and Billions.
So I never watched Billions, but everybody I know that watched it loved it.
I love Billions.
So that's the guy, the red-haired guy from,
Homeland.
Homeland, yes.
So what's Billions about?
You know, Billions
Your life? Is it the true life story of Todd Chrisley?
I wish. Billions is about, it's nothing but narcissism. It's just narcissism at its finest. It's excess. It's, just the love of money and thinking that money is going to solve every problem. And I look at it from the perspective of, wow, how dumb can this be? And then you've got Chase watching it at 23. Dude, Bobby Axelrod is the man. He just spent $100 million on. I'm like, Chase, it's a television show.
Right. Bobby Axelrod's not real.
Exactly.
Right.
Which one's Bobby Axelrod?
It's the ginger, the guy from Homeland.
Yeah. And he's like foreign. Is he American in this show?
Yeah.
Because like in real life, he talks like, and I'm like, oh my goodness, the guy's.
That's what when we first discovered that when he was on Homeland, because he's all like American, like
Damian
Homeland,
Lewis, yeah.
serving our country, crazy, and then he has an accent.
The Walking Dead guy too.
Yeah.
First time he went on, he's like, I might good die. I'm like, no, you're from Atlanta. You're fighting zombies in Atlanta.
Like
Why are
sheriff.
you talking like that?
Yeah.
Everybody out there listening now, we appreciate you. And let me say this too, is that, we have this Pimp and Joy line of clothing that we do. We're not keeping any of the money. We never do, by the way. We never kept $1 in the history of Pimp and Joy. Been able to raise millions of dollars. But for us, we're able to work with, right now, the tornado relief. So if you go to bobbybones.com, you can even see us on camera today, facebook.com/BobbyBonesShow. Amy and I are wearing 2 of the sweatshirts, and we're writing checks quick. So if there's something you've been thinking about doing, you want a shirt right now that will go to help the people all through Tennessee that have been hit by the tornadoes. So bobbybones.com and click the button, the Pimp and Joy button there, and you can help. And if you don't have money, you have time. There's a lot of things that you can do, and we appreciate you guys for doing all of that.
Come on, Bobby.
Transmitting across America.
Turn it up. This is the Bobby Bones Show. Let's go.
Todd Chrisley has been in for an hour filling in as guest host. Let me ask you a question, Todd. They say text message etiquette. If you get a text and you see it, what is your responding time? Is it immediate or something? Do you wait?
My response time is normally within minutes.
Will you ever leave one dotted up to make sure you see it later?
I'm normally not checking my phone if I'm filming or if I'm in a conversation with someone, because I think it's rude to be conversing with someone and then focusing on your phone. But once that text message comes in and I'm at my phone, I respond within a minute of me having it.
What if you send someone a text and let's say it's 12 hours, you don't hear from them?
Well, that's not going to happen with me because I would have already sent you back a text message and said, have you lost your mind? I sent you a message 7 minutes ago. Give me an answer.
The proper etiquette, they say that it's 1 day. You have 1 day to text back or it's rude.
No, it's rude way before 1 day. I mean, why would you think that, who thinks that they can make someone wait for a day like that person has nothing else to do with their life?
I feel the same way. And people know me that I have my phone all the time.
Right.
And if I'm not back at you within 15 minutes, I'm either working out or asleep or just not wanting to get to your text message.
Right.
Because I'm here. And the other thing I do is I send voice memos to everybody.
Right.
And where you just push the button and talk into your phone.
Right.
And I'm in that stage of, is it super annoying or is it super convenient? And it's kind of torn here amongst the group because I'll send a 2-minute message and they have to listen to it all. You can't just look at it.
Yeah, see, I wouldn't be friends with you on as far as texting goes.
But I'm pretty
because
funny
that's-
on there, Todd.
Yeah, I know you are, but it's just annoying for me to have to listen to it.
It's your own personal show, though, Todd. It's like me just doing a little bit for you. It may be extra fun. You don't know, Todd.
Well, Bobby doesn't too. His thing is if you don't ask a question, then he doesn't really have to reply back or acknowledge it.
If you just say, hey, I'll see you at 6 p.m., period.
Right.
Why do I have to reply? Okay, I'll see you at 6. No, it's a statement. It's understood. You stated your statement.
Well, I'll tell you like Savannah tells me, no, it's not understood. If I say I'm going to meet you at 6 p.m., you need to come back and say confirmed.
Yeah.
What are we on, walkie-talkies in the 1960s?
Copy, Roger that.
Yeah, breaker. Let's go to Tara real quick in Boston, who is on with Todd Chrisley. Hey, Tara, how are you?
Good. Good morning, studio.
Morning.
Morning, Todd.
Good morning.
Yes, Julie had expressed some interest on the show about opening a restaurant in Nashville. I was wondering if you could give an update on that.
We are in negotiations on a building downtown right now. And we might be able to get a better deal now. I don't know. But that negotiations has gone slowly regarding kind of what we can put there because it's closer to a school. So we do not have the location as of yet, but it is something that she's still moving forward with.
Okay, great.
Anything you'd like to, any money you'd like to invest in this building, Tara? Or you're just wondering? You're going to come to it?
No, I wish I could, but I would like to say that Chase and Nanny Faye are my favorite. I love the Ride or Die.
I love that. Thank you so much for watching.
Let me ask you a question about that, Todd. When someone calls and goes, hey, Todd, love the show, Chase is my favorite.
Well, that doesn't happen often.
Okay.
Normally it's Todd is my favorite. I'm kidding. But listen, I love that. I mean, our show, we were in looking at, new data on the show. We've been on the air. This is going in the 8th season. Shows start aging out. And the studies that came back said our show is grabbing younger audiences. It's not aging out. And I think that that's attributed to, and I think, the demographic that we cover is 13 to 84. So we're hitting every key demographic.
Yeah, that's every demo.
Yes, we're hitting every key demographic. And, we have brought the largest African-American viewership to USA, the largest Hispanic viewership to USA. And, when you start seeing that and you realize that it's because there's someone, when you think about hitting every demographic, our show, in our family, we have every key demographic. My mother's 75, I'm 51, Julie's 46. Chase is 23, Savannah's 22, Grayson's 13, Chloe's 6. So, we are hitting a lot of those demographics. So, I love that everyone has their fan favorite.
Savannah tweeted this out. Is it okay if I read this out?
I don't know what she's tweeted.
No, not in the past few minutes.
Oh, okay.
It says justice is moving slowly.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know about this?
Yes,
tweet? Okay,
I do.
Can I bring it up?
You can.
Okay. Savannah tweets out, justice may move slowly, but at least it's moving in the right direction. This is the man who has tried to destroy our family along with hundreds of other Georgia taxpayers. Hashtag all in God's time.
Mm-hmm.
So talk about what has happened here.
In 2017, we were notified that we owed taxes in the state of Georgia. And, we have accountants that deal with all this kind of stuff. And so I called the accountant and I said, what is this about? And he says, it's not true. You don't owe any taxes. Well, you listen to your accountant. And so I said, send me something in writing confirming this. So he sends me an email. And then this guy here, Joshua Carl Waits, who was the chief of police for the Georgia Department of Revenue, he comes after us saying that we owe $2.2 million in taxes to the state of Georgia. I had accountants in Florida, accountants in Georgia. They're all getting together. They're like, this guy's out of his mind. So, but because we're on television, it made headlines. It's what people wanted to hear. Not that they wanted to hear it, but, our names, it sells clicks. And so I fought back. I hired attorneys, and I filed a lawsuit against the state of Georgia and against this rogue investigator here, Joshua Carl Waits. Well, when my attorneys did an open records request, which means you get everything, we found emails of where he was working with the media, telling them that, we've got a big celebrity that we're going to take down. And he did so many illegal criminal things to do this. And we have spent a lot of money to take him out of his position. And yesterday he was forced to resign because of the evidence that we had uncovered, that he was committing crimes within the Department of Revenue. He was stealing from slush funds that they had there. He was sending emails amongst other people, say it would be a picture of me in an episode of Chrisley Knows Best, and then he would be kind of striking the same pose. And then it was a picture of our bed that we used in season 1 through 3, and he's transposed himself in that bed. And so we got all these photographs, and he was let go, and there's going to be more to come out of that here in the next couple of weeks.
You feel like in the end, it's all going to come out, and you're going to be able to say, this is just somebody going after us because...
Well, we've already done that. That's been proven.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's already out there. You can Google that. It went from $2.2 million to $70,000. We paid the $70,000, and the only reason we paid the $70,000 is because we wanted to file the lawsuit, and we couldn't file the lawsuit while that was still pending. And the only reason the $70,000 was paid is because the Georgia Department of Revenue, this individual here, determined that deductions that my accountants had taken in 2009, they were going to disallow $70,000. So we paid the $70,000 on a Friday and sued them on Monday.
Well, I have a lot of those words. I don't even know what they mean, to be honest with you. I just was kind of listening to some words. I wasn't even going to bring it up, but I just saw Savannah tweeted it, and I know you just say whatever's out there. So
I do.
Well, listen, I'll say this, Todd. I've really enjoyed our hour we spent together.
Thank you. I always enjoy being around you.
I know that 5 o'clock in the morning when you woke up this morning is not the favorite time to wake up in the morning.
5 a.m. is a little early for me because I don't go to bed until like 1. So 5's a little early.
What in the world do you do until 1 o'clock in the morning?
Bobby, I manage everyone in the family. So, I'm trying to deal with whatever Savannah's got going on, which is a lot. And then the storylines that we're covering in the show, and getting ready for another season of Growing Up Chrisley. And, I've got, as I told you, DeMarcus Rules, which is Jay DeMarcus's new show on Netflix. And then I've got another show that I'm working on with my mother, 50 Ways to Kill Nanny Faye. And
Why do you need all this money, Todd? It's all I hear is ching, 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 ching. Like, come on,
Bobby,
what?
no, I'm hearing him talk. First of all, you would stay up till 1 a.m. if you could, 2 a.m.
That's true.
maybe. You work all day long. You're developing shows like crazy. Like, what?
Let
Are
me
you
just say
like,
stuff to
I
Todd
think
over
you're
here.
just looking in the mirror
Let me just
right
say
now.
stuff to Todd over here.
Like, hello.
You know, so I have a lot to do. And so, you know, we normally don't finish filming until like 6 o'clock in the evening. And then from 6 o'clock in the evening until sometimes 1 o'clock in the morning, I'm doing emails and responding and putting things together and launching this CBD brand and these beverages that are coming out. And then we have Brass Rabbit, which is our non-alcohol wine. And we've just got a lot of stuff going on.
Look at you. Look at you.
Bobby, we need to get you some of that Brass Rabbit.
I'm going to send Bobby
ow.
some Brass Rabbit.
Here's the thing, Todd. Like,
little-
I've never tasted wine.
I haven't either.
And this is non-alcoholic wine. If I were to drink this and it was so good, I'd be like, let me just go a little bit farther.
Try the real stuff.
Let me just go a little bit farther.
Bobby worries about the same things that I worry about. But Bobby, let me tell you something. It really is a wonderful product. And, you know, I started with this because Chase was out socially drinking. And we didn't approve of it because we've never drank. It's never been in our home. And so, you know, I had created something that and sat down with him and said, you know, listen, this is not what you come from. We would prefer that you not drink. And, you know, let's stop. And he didn't listen to me. And so that was something that I said, okay, now it's time to do something. So I came up, you know, with a slogan for him, and it was called Sober's the New Sexy. And, you know, in the research that we were doing, we found that the millennials are tapering back on their consumption of alcohol and that they drink in order to be social. And so, you know, basically what I came up with was social but in control. That's who you are. You appreciate fun and fine wine. You're social and in control. Brass Rabbit, the non-alcoholic wine that includes everyone.
You're telling me, Todd, that sober is sexy.
I do.
I am so hot. I am so hot right now. Damn, Friday nights, I could not get hotter. All right, Todd. Hey, Todd Chrisley, here he is. Hey, let's
Thank
bring
you
in his
very
parting
much.
gift. Todd,
Thank
sometimes
you.
we'll go into our prize closet and grab something that this had your name on it today. And so we have you a board game called, what's it called? Spontaneous, because you're so freaking spontaneous.
Scuba Steve, thank you so much.
We signed it. There he is, Todd
Thank
Chrisley.
you. Thank you.
Hey, we love you. Thank you very
buddy.
much.
Thank you for having me.
And goodbye to Todd. And here's Kane Brown. Bobby Bones Show. Right, next, if you watch Love is Blind, first of all, good for you. If you don't, you gotta watch it because they're in the pods and they're dating and they get engaged and it's crazy. And
They've never seen each other.
It's crazy. But I think we're gonna talk to Amber from Love is Blind, who's a little nutty on the show.
Yeah. My husband saw like 2 episodes with her and he was like fearing for people's lives. He's like, if I dated her, she's where I don't know if we got in a fight, if I'd be able to sleep at night because she'd like do something to me.
I tweeted when I first watched it, the girl that's a tank mechanic wants to make me walk in front of a tank if I were to date her.
I saw that tweet.
I'm not going to say that to her. I'm just happy she's calling the show, I'll be
Yeah.
honest. But she's going to be on next. So if you watch Love is Blind, because the reunion episode's up today. No, I thought it was tomorrow. It's today, right? It's up today? Okay, so we'll have Amber from Love is Blind coming up next.
Come on, Bobby Bones Show.
Getting a lot of texts here into the studio and a lot of tweets asking me to play this song. And if anything, I give the people what they want. If anything, I just give people what they want.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm going to play it now. Brand new from the Dixie Chicks. This is Gaslighter here on the Bobby Bones Show.
Bobby Bones Show.
That's new Dixie Chicks called Gaslighter. Appreciate you guys hanging out. Last night, the Walking on Wire show was on.
Yeah, over a volcano.
Nick Walinda, who, by the way, I think Mike D is in the other room interviewing him right now.
He is?
Yeah.
He's on the phone with him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
We'll put it on our post-show podcast. So when you listen to this back, there's a lot to check in with.
That's cool.
Todd Chrisley was our guest host today.
So good.
But also Mike D talking to Nick Walinda. We couldn't time it just right, and they called us last minute, and they were like, "Do you want Nick?" And we were talking to Amber from Netflix, and we had a song to play, and I was like, "Mike D, you go do it real quick." So we'll put it on the podcast. But I'm assuming he lived because he's on the phone with Mike D right now.
He lived, yes.
Yeah.
But he had a harness on, right?
Yeah, he was never going to die.
Now, we don't want anyone to die, but does it lose a little bit of luster if there's no chance that he's going to fall in the volcano?
For sure. And I think last night they made it a little more dramatic than it should have because then they were like, all right, he can't fall into the volcano, but the gases that the volcano's coming, like the smoke and everything, could get to his respiratory system, and it could be really bad.
He could die on the wire.
Right.
But guys, harnesses fail. There's always
Oh, boy.
but there's always that risk that he's facing death by doing it because you just never know. He could fall and the harness malfunctions.
Here is Volcano Live with Nick Walinda. Nick says his eyes are burning above the volcano.
His family gathering around, people from Nicaragua all gathering around. We have witnessed history as well.
A walk into history. Nick Walinda, congratulations.
I feel like Nick should give a final rose since Chris Harrison's doing the commentating there.
He found his future wife.
Yeah. How was the show?
Yeah, man. You know, like it was cool to see. You know, props to him. What he made history. Good for him. But this is how chill he was.
He walked across this wire.
He's walking across the wire over a volcano, and there was a drone over it, so it looked really cool. Where you can see the lava underneath his feet. Scary, yes. Had a harness on. He was so chill, Bones, that he's promoting his book. He was singing songs.
Nice.
He's walking the wire saying, guys, check out my new book. It's at Barnes & Noble.
I got a CBD line right now. Hey, Mike, did you talk to him?
Yeah.
Gonna be up on the podcast?
Yeah, I just talked to him.
What was the deal?
I wanted to know, like, what would happen if he fell. And he told me.
What, the harness holds him?
Well, he says he's not going to rely on the harness. He's going to, like, grab onto the tightrope and hang on there.
Okay, well, listen to that on this podcast. I'll say this, by the way. Our Pimp and Joy line is up as we raise money for people that were hit by the tornado all through Tennessee. Because outside of Nashville and Putnam County and Cookeville, like, they got hit really, really hard. Really hard. Yeah. And I think because Nashville is the city that people know, it's getting a lot of the attention. And we're obviously helping here, but we're also wanting to shine the light there as well. And there are still 20 people missing there. And so what we're doing is putting these shirts up, these hoodies, and right now we're at $57,000 raised from you guys. And we don't keep any of the money. We never have kept $1 from Pimp and Joy. We will never keep $1 from Pimp and Joy. And if you want to find a different way to donate, that's great. If you want to donate time, that's great. But if you are looking for a way to not only give back, but also, you know, have a piece of merch that represents an idea.
Yeah, you can wear it proudly knowing you bought that and it went towards spreading joy to people that really, really need it. Because that's what it's all about. And it'll be a reminder when you wear it to choose joy for yourself. Like I'm seeing a lot of these people on the news do, even in Cookeville, that lost everything and they still they're an inspiration to me because they're reminding me in my little things, like if they can be on the news and still have gratitude and joy for life and seeing the good, even when they've lost everything. And that's what this shirt can be a reminder of to you too, to choose that for yourself, but also to spread joy to others.
And we also just, want to be transparent with you guys and let you guys know how much money we're raising because when we donated,
it's because of you.
It's because of you guys, yeah. And right now, as a team, just from yesterday to today, we've raised $57,000 through our Pimp and Joy line. So you can go to bobbybones.com and see that and buy that if you want. Again, if you can't, get it too. But, you can also donate time. Or if you can donate neither here, you can find places to actually give back that has nothing to do with this. It's just always about trying to help somebody else out if they need the help. So there you go. What else? Alex Trebek, did you hear the update he gave about his cancer?
No.
Here is Alex Trebek's cancer update.
There were moments of great pain, great depression that made me wonder if it really was worth fighting on. But I brushed that aside quickly because that would have been a massive betrayal. A betrayal of my wife and soulmate, Jean, and it would certainly have been a betrayal of my faith in God and the millions of prayers that have been said on my behalf.
So he's happy to report that 1 year mark, which less than 20% of people that had his diagnosis get to.
Wow, I just got goosebumps.
Mm-hmm. The 2-year survival rate is just 8%, but he said if we take it just one day at a time, like he said there, positive attitude, anything is possible. So there you go. Dang, look at that guy. Yeah, it's tough because we don't know Alex Trebek, but you feel like you know Alex Trebek because he's been
in our life forever.
And even if you don't watch Jeopardy every day, he's always been around.
You know who he is, yeah.
Mm-hmm. That is the deal. BobbyBones.com to get in on the Pimp and Joy. Thank you, guys.
Missed any of today's show or just want to listen again? Check out the Bobby Bones Show on demand on the iHeartRadio app.
yesterday I was up here and I'm doing this kind of acting podcast that I haven't talked about yet, and Dennis Quaid is directing it. Dennis Quaid, the big movie star.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So it was Dennis Quaid and I hanging out up here, and I think we took some outtakes of it because I can't play the podcast, I don't think. Right, Mike? No. So here's Dennis Quaid giving me directions during the podcast. Letter to Me by Brad Paisley.
I told you, girl. All right, let's do it one more time. Got it. This time, try to do it like Bobby Bones, okay?
What does that mean?
I don't know. But
Did he think you just weren't yourself enough?
I don't know. But he was a nice guy. We did this thing, and I was having to read the credits at the end. And again, this is just like little outtakes. It's the only part we could play back. Here's Dennis Quaid making a joke about how to read his name in the credits.
Okay, let's do it again. And when it comes to executive produced for audio by Dennis Quaid, really slow that down.
You got it. Dennis Quaid. And put some reverb on it, too.
All right.
It was good. He's good. He was fun. We came in for about an hour and kind of read through.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, big Hollywood guy. I didn't ask him about is he married to her, the girl that's 30 years younger than him?
Oh, yeah.
You didn't ask him?
Huh? Girlfriend? I didn't ask him.
Oh.
He didn't want to go there.
No.
Dang, you should just
No,
been
I
like,
just forgot.
No, you should say like, hey, I got a girlfriend. She's 27, 28. What's up?
Well, yeah, but he's a lot older than
Are
I am.
they friends? I know.
That's funny. Does she know? Are they Instagram friends? Let's see. A man jailed for murdering his wife finds her after 7 years living with her lover.
Ooh.
Wait, what?
He was put in jail for murdering his wife, except she wasn't dead.
Wow, he got convicted, no body?
Amy watched too many. Amy watches too many murder podcasts.
Wow. Wow. There must have been a lot of evidence there.
This man was charged with murdering his wife 7 years back. He even spent a month in jail for the crime while all of his claims of innocence fell deaf. On Monday, he was proved not guilty after police nabbed his dead wife and her lover. He married her back February 7th, 2013. But only after 2 months of marriage, she went missing from his house. He launched a frantic search, couldn't find her. Later, he lodged a missing persons complaint. This other person claimed that her body was dumped after killing. It was a whole thing.
No.
But then they found her.
So did she stage the whole thing?
After 2 months of marriage, she fled her in-laws' house and eloped with her new lover.
Yeah.
Both fled and stayed hiding for 7 years. She also gave birth to a son and daughter.
Oh my gosh.
Crazy, man.
A guy passed his driver's tests, and he looked down at some texts from his friends congratulating him. He's like, hey, and then he crashed his car into the river.
Same day.
New driver crashes his car into a river 10 minutes after passing driving test. The inexperienced driver was reading text messages from friends congratulating him on passing his exam when he took his eyes off the road. Then the driver made a wrong turn onto a bridge and into the river.
Oh my god!
I got into a wreck the first week I got my driver's license.
What?
Motorcycle hit me.
Did it hit you or did you
Everybody
hit him?
always hits you.
No, he hit me. I was doing nothing. Even my mom was so scared. She's like, oh my gosh, you don't even have your license yet. It's a paper.
Yeah.
She's like, keep going. I'm like, no, we got to stop.
Their fault.
I was turning in the right lane, and he was trying to pass another car behind me. Didn't see me, hit my bumper, flew.
You guys
Scary.
can hop on and listen to the podcast from today's show. Just go over and search Bobby Bones Show on demand. Our guest co-host today was Todd Chrisley from Chrisley Knows Best. Yesterday, Trooper Johnson, Marine State Trooper, protects the governor. That was a really good one, too. So check those out. Chris Kirkpatrick from NSYNC was on a day. So check out all our guest hosts. It has really been awesome.